Okay, so we're going to have a look at solving algebraic fractions, okay, when we need to add algebraic fractions together in the first place. So remember, whenever we add and subtract any fractions, they need to have a common denominator, and this is also true when they involve algebra. So if we start off by looking at this question, we then need to make sure we have a common denominator so that we can actually add them together. So if we start off by thinking about how I get that, remember, the easiest way with an algebraic fraction is to multiply the two denominators together. So 2x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 1. And then the denominator on the other fraction then will be the same. So 2x minus 3 multiplied by x plus 1. Then originally on the first fraction, I had x on my numerator, but I've multiplied the whole of this fraction by x plus 1. And I do the same thing to the numerator as I do to the denominator. And for the second fraction, I had 4. So I had this fraction. It's now been multiplied by 2x minus 3, and I do the same thing to the numerator and the denominator. And then remember that equals 1. Then I can write my fractions. I have the numerator all in one line. So I have x bracket x plus 1 added to 4 bracket 2x minus 3 all over 2x minus 3 x plus 1 equals 1. And then I can expand my brackets and simplify everything as much as possible. So if I expand on the numerator, 2 separate brackets to expand here. So x times x gives me x squared, 1 times x will give me x, 4 times 2x will give me 8x, and 4 times minus 3 will give me minus 12. And then on my denominator, so my 2x minus 3 times my x plus 1, so 2x times x will give me 2x squared. 2x times 1 gives me 2x. Minus 3 times x gives me minus 3x. And minus 3 times 1 gives me minus 3 equals 1. Okay, and then simplify everything as much as possible. So I end up with x squared plus 9x minus 12 all over 2x squared minus x minus 3 equals 1. Now I've got an equation that involves fractions. Okay, I don't like the fractions, so therefore the only way to eliminate having that denominator is to multiply both sides by that denominator. So 2x squared minus x minus 3. And we're doing that to both sides of the equation. And then I'm going to have to pop up here so we've got a bit more space so you can see. So therefore on the left hand side I will have x squared plus 9x minus 12 equals 1 lot of, so I don't really need to expand any brackets, but if you had a 3 on the other side, you want to expand everything by 3. But in this case, I'm just going to have 1 lot of 2x squared minus x minus 3. And then I've got a quadratic equation. Okay, so I want to make one side equal to 0 so that I can solve it. The best side at this point to make 0 is this one, therefore I won't have any negative x squareds to deal with. So I'm going to take away x squared from both sides. It's going to give me 9x minus 12 equals x squared minus x minus 3. Now I'm going to do this in one go, but you can do it in 2 steps. So I'm going to subtract the 9x from both sides, and I'm going to add the 12 to both sides just to get there a little bit quicker for you. So therefore 9x take 9x will cancel, minus 12 add 12, that will leave me with the 0 that I wanted, equals x squared minus 10x plus 9. And at this point it hasn't told me there's any decimal places or anything involved, so I can factorize it. So we can use our cross method in which to factorize. So I want the two things that make x squared, x and x. I want two things that will multiply to make 9, but are going to add to make minus 10. So therefore they're both going to be negatives, and the only way to make 9 is 3 and 3 and 9 and 1. So I'm going to use the 9 and 1. So minus 9 times minus 1 makes positive 9, which is what I wanted. X times minus 1 will give me minus x. X times minus 9 will give me minus 9x. when I add them together, they give me minus 10x, which is what I wanted. Remember, the top two go in a bracket together. The bottom two go in a bracket together, equals 0. And to solve, we put each bracket equal to 0. So x minus 9 equals 0. So I would add 9 to both sides, giving me a solution of x equals 9. And put the other bracket equal to 0, so x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1 to both sides, and we end up with x equals 1. Okay, and they are our two solutions to that equation.